video, we are going to continue to talk about our need for a reality, our need for a sort of stable, comprehensive world or comprehensive reality in order to thrive, in order to feel love. This is a sort of continuation on the previous video that was named We Need a Reality. In this video, we are going to talk more about reality and how important it is for us to feel something stable, something solid, something that can't be taken away from us. And I may even argue that the search for reality is also the search for ourselves, our true selves. And I want to say that the search for reality, this stable, comprehensive ground that we want to live our life from, is also what we're searching for when we have this inner yearning, this drive that we're heading somewhere. We are actually searching for this reality. And I'm going to talk all about that in this video. What I find so interesting about this is that I have studied, I have taken interest in everything that humans understand about psychology or relationships. And in almost all these explanations, there is this strong focus on, I guess, relationships, secure relationships, and perhaps love and feelings. And a lot of us develop problems from our early childhood because our parents fail to emotionally validate us. And yes, I brought this up in the previous video as well. We need a reality. When I talked about that, yes, of course, you can have very difficult childhoods. You can have abusive parents, you can have completely absent parents, you can have parents with psychological disorders, you can have a range of problems when you grow up. But the base of it all is that it's not stable. It's not a good introduction to what life and reality is. And of prime importance, or so science says, and I agree, is that we are emotionally validated when we grow up. That means that when you were happy, when you were sad, when you were bored or excited, someone was there observing you, holding you, understanding you, engaging with you. And if they didn't engage with you, and primarily, of course, your focus was your parents, if they didn't engage with you, you kind of lost a sense of reality. And I will get back to this, how the sense of you is connected to how you understand reality, which is also connected to how you feel. We will get back to that. So when your parents, in this case, is not looking at you, is not validating you, and as I also explained in the previous video with this, you reach out for an embrace, you want the embrace. Because what is an embrace unless safety? Holding someone close, feeling close to someone, something is permanent, something is safe, I can relax in my body because I'm safe. If they weren't even present when you hugged your parents, if they weren't even present then, or maybe they didn't even hug you, you get a further sense of distance, alienation, and a lack of transparency. Something sort of telling you that this isn't safe. Because if it were safe, we would all be laughing and we would behold each other, but this isn't safe. And your focus then becomes on your parents. If your parents don't get along, you will watch them and you will be afraid. Because when they are arguing, you will feel extremely afraid and uncertain. Just like you will feel afraid and uncertain if you in your current relationship also experience a big argue, a big quarrel. That is very unstabilizing, destabilizing, and we want to avoid that. And sometimes we want to avoid that, so we do anything just to keep it stable. We will talk more about that as well, because all of this has one thing in common: to find that stable reality that we're all searching for. So in the childhood, you focus on your parents, you're trying even to fix perhaps your parents' relationships so that they don't go separate ways and the ultimate crisis occurs. You may be trying to fix that. Maybe you even feel responsible for trying to fix it, or you feel that you failed to fix it. You really want your parents to be stable. You don't want them to yell or make loud noises or seem angry or stressed. You want them to be calm, because if they are calm and loving, then you can feel calm and loving, because your parents will display to you if your surrounding is safe or not. So if they are calm and stable, then you can be calm and stable. So this is so important. And some people, they believe that they had good childhood because they had a roof over their head, they got food, they got clothes, they got stuff, and their parents weren't yelling, they were together, so everything seemed fine. But they were still not emotionally engaged. You could have grown up with parents that even if they seemed calm, it was more like they were detached. They were not addressing feelings. So when you had a lot of feelings, these weren't addressed, and you learned to kind of suppress them and not ask for them to be validated. And this also means that reality wasn't confirmed. And reality needs to be confirmed. And really the only way for you to have reality confirmed is actually that someone sees you. Which is one reason that I often suggest to people to stand in front of the mirror and not say, "I love you," which of course it's not a bad thing to say. You can say "I love you," but try saying this instead: "I'm here. I am here. I exist. I'm seen. I'm here. I see myself now." Because that was what we needed. We needed that gazing eyes onto us to be safe. So if we didn't get this when we grow up, we're probably going to have some predictable patterns when we are adults. We're going to go around with a sort of internal hypervigilance where we feel a sort of stress or anxiety that can eventually lead to a burnout, because we are kind of constantly looking for this unstable reality that we can't make sense of. We usually then do things that we do not agree with. You may decide to work your ass off to pursue a career because you need something to focus on so that you're not watching this all the time, an unstable reality that you can't stand. Or you enter into a relationship, not because it feels good, but because you need something to focus on. And even if that partner, which they usually are, having some kind of difficulty, maybe severe psychological difficulty, maybe even an abusive relationship, you still try to hold on to that relationship because you need something stable. So you rather pretend everything you can, just as long as someone don't take reality away from you, not again. And then eventually, of course, because you entered stuff in your life that you are not really agreeing with your real emotions, which we will come to soon, because you enter these agreements just to have some stable ground in this constant earthquake, eventually it will fail. And when it fails, it's going to hit you hard. Whether it is a career that is failing, friends that betray you, relationships that betray you, any sort of crisis, Because it's not per se the loss of these relationships, it is the loss of a stable foundation for yourself, a stable ground, a sort of reality that makes you able to make sense of yourself. So this absolute need that every one of us have to find a stable ground, it's everywhere. But here is the interesting part. There is a way to solve this. And we don't solve it by running around like crazy rabbits on the outside, trying to keep some kind of reality stable so that we can live. We do it by facing these feelings. But let me tell you something about feelings. Because the feelings you feel every day, they are not your genuine feelings. If we would work now with the idea that your genuine feelings can only be felt when the water is still, not when it goes like this. So in the beginning, you will have these roaring feelings on the outside and on the inside. And the reason for this is mainly because of stuff that happened in your childhood. And may I say, not even your childhood, it can go way back than that. Whether you want to comment on previous lifetimes or just your genetic lineage, because you will inherit what your parents and what your grandparents went through. So whatever it is that is making you feel uneasy, that is what we need to look at. Because what is happening is that your feelings and what they are information. Your feelings gives you constant feedback on your current reality, on your current life. That's what your feeling is doing. And their main focus will be to inform you if there is any danger to your current reality. And your feelings, of course, they can't see what is going on around you. So what is happening is, it is your brain doing this. And our brains are prediction machines. If you wonder why you have to jump up in the air if some noise is there or something, and why you can't stop yourself, is because your brain is predicting everything for you all the time. So if something bad happened in your childhood, and in our childhood we went through kind of repetitive, dangerous patterns. So whatever was wrong or not stable in your childhood when you grew up, that will be particularly ingrained in the brain. It will say, aha, now I know what we have to look out for. Great that you informed me. So the brain is constantly looking for primarily dangers, because these needs to be addressed first. So if you feel this constant stress in your body, be aware that what is going on is that your brain is scanning for dangers all the time, even if it clearly is nothing around you to be afraid of. It will be scared of something that's going to happen in a week or a month, or that you have no idea is going to happen. It will keep predicting and predicting. And as your brain predicts and is convincing itself that behind that corner could be something dangerous, your emotions get all stirred up to inform you that there is danger around the corner. Now this is where you have to step in and start informing yourself about real reality. The process of waking up, and we don't need to give this any more spiritual terms, because guess what? Everyone is in on this. Everyone is in a kind of delusional land until we deal with this. The way that you can inform yourself to stop what the brain is running on is to be present during every day. Present and observe, and talk to yourself and inform yourself what you're doing right now. Right now, what is happening right now? And guess what? You know what? You can start by practicing this in every relationship you encounter during your day. Because every time that we communicate in relationships, correct me if I'm wrong, are we being straightforward and transparent with each other, or are we perhaps doing what we did in childhood? This person may not say what they mean, and I don't know how to interpret it, so I will do my stuff back there and see what that person responds, and I will analyze my text messages and everything that people are sending me, and I will... How much time would we save if all of us were completely straightforward? In business, in personal relationships, in everything, we would just be straightforward. We would genuinely see the other person's need, and they will genuinely share it with us, and we will do the same. It would be excellent. And guess what? Our childhood traumas would start to heal. Because how you're actually healing childhood trauma, and there is a great agreement in this, is in stable emotional relationships. It's difficult for you to work on yourself, to regulate yourself from this to this, because we couldn't do it as still children. When we were small, we couldn't regulate our feelings by ourselves. We needed actually our parents to help us. And when they couldn't help us, it was like this. And you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. So you're not supposed to be able to do it alone when you are grown up either. You need your friends. You need your fellow human beings in order to make them see you, to feel seen and heard, to see them, to feel seen and heard, to actually hang out as the human beings that we are. And that will start to make things make sense again. It will start feeling better. So we actually regulate our feelings together. And yes, you can search out for a specific therapy group where people come together, where they, you can sometimes portray real life situations, but in a safe space with this group. So someone can play the father, someone can play the grandmother, someone can play the child. So you get to see what is triggered in you and you learn to regulate it within the group. Yes, you can do that. But you can also do it with your friends, with your co-workers. You can do it here and now, wherever you are. So we don't actually have to go to that specific therapist or psychologist or whatever. We can start helping each other out. That's what I'm trying to say. And I touched on that in the previous video. We need a reality that people who already are suffering from these so-called psychological disorders, whether it's avoidance or narcissism, borderline, etc., they already have such a trust issue that they couldn't find anyone to help them stabilize. So they basically created their own internal safe place where they don't go out with reality to regulate themselves, but they try to regulate themselves within their own space, which really can't be done. They really need to start trusting other people in order to have this repaired. So that's the main issue for them. They don't reach the state where they can search for help from a friend or go to a therapist because they will not let someone in. But these are stuff that we can start help each other with. So feelings, they inform you of what's going on. And the feelings, they only exercise their feelings once the brain has first informed them on what to send out. So you, with your will, because you are the boss, you explain to the brain what we are supposed to see when we look outside. I am not afraid anymore. I'm gonna see love. I'm not gonna hide. I'm actually gonna stand up and I'm gonna lift. I'm gonna help my fellow human being. And I'm gonna watch them as they return that favor. And I'm gonna learn how to be safe again. You can't think your way to reality. And sorry, spiritual people, you can't think yourself or meditate yourself into enlightenment. You gotta do this. And this is what it means to be grounded. When we ground ourselves, we actually, it's not enough to go out in nature unless It is nature where you connect with your own feelings. Because the grounding element here is not the physical ground, it is your feelings. When we are disorganized, when we are dissociative, when we are escaping this because we feel it's this on the outside, and I have to find fake stability on the outside, and this is the inside, sorry, and that is the outside where I find fake stability, and then I have a life crisis because it never lasts, and I'm back to this. And we have to go and face this now. So when you ground yourself, you dare to get in contact with this, because it's the only thing that can make you feel home and feel reality and find reality. And another way, yes, for reality is actually home, where we have our center, where we feel stable and grounded and can relax. And that home is what some people have referred to as God, or your heart, or every one of us together. Therefore, I say we're all God. This experience here, as I explained also, I think, in the previous video, that we're never really dying and your life is not wasted. You're just a point of experience. Everything you see and experience, all the emotions here is shared with everyone. I know it doesn't feel like that right now because you are scared. And I'm scared also being here alone. But I know that everything I see and experience and touch is also something that you touch and see and experience, even if you can't feel it yet. Because every time I'm scared, and especially when I'm scared, then I feel as most separated and alone. But it's not true. It's just a perception. And I have the strength to inform my brain on what I believe, on what I see and of who I am. It wasn't my brain who invented these fears. I did it myself when I was small. When I watched stuff that made me afraid, that made me doubt myself. Some people say that because I had this in this childhood, I can't love again. But that's not true. No one can take away that right from you. You choose who you love. No one can take away that from you. But you might have gotten so scared or so disappointed that you said you never want to do it again. And this is the tragic that can happen from a really severely traumatic childhood, that some of us never even try to find reality again. We say that I will never ever trust stable again. There is no such thing. Every time I feel or think that I have reached stable ground, someone will remove that away from me. So I will not search for that connection with reality anymore. And with reality, I do mean the connection, because every reality connection here is a relationship. But they say, no, I will not even attempt that anymore. I will be a lone wolf. I am safe by myself. And this is actually how you know that someone has given up on that hope. That is when they are alone, and especially if they say that they are better off alone, or that they are proud of being so independent and they enjoy their own autonomy, or whatever. I get it. You want to feel safe, and you don't wanna risk getting hurt again. But eventually, you will gotta have to love again. And every time I listen to people who say that they're proud of being alone and all that, I can see that they're not being completely genuine and honest. And I admire them for being strong, to hold it together as it is. But there is a greater joy to be found. There is a greater reality. And if they truly felt safe, and I will argue that they don't ever really truly feel safe. If they truly feel safe, they're gonna feel something else. Because you can be autonomous and stand strong by yourself and still not be a so-called lone wolf. Because you are integrated as you are whole as you are, but the whole problem is that we don't feel whole, we feel lack, and we feel that we have to find it on the outside. But this is where it starts, to start feeling your feelings. So when your feelings tell you that you are afraid like hell, and your brain is saying everything here around is threatening your reality, there is our greatest challenge. There is your fight with the dragon. If you can face this. And the way to do that is to say, I am staying because I'm not going anywhere. Yes, I'm speaking to you because you are always there. When your parents can't see you, you say, but I see you. I will always see you. I am the one who sees, and I will always see you. When everyone else is rocking the boat, you stand firm in that boat. And in this process, if anyone ever wonder what the answers is, what is the answer that we're all searching for? What is this enlightenment that we're searching for? Well, tell you what it's not. It's not running around out there like a crazy rabbit. It's actually this. It's presence with yourself. To not fear this on the inside, but to stay with it. Keep looking at it. It's gonna feel in the beginning like you are standing in a dark ocean that is storming, and you are just a small little person, and the ocean are full of waves, and maybe there's lightning in the sky, and you have no idea what you're even supposed to watch. I know it's gonna feel like that, because all of this time you've been looking for that sunny day outside. You're doing everything you can to avoid this on the inside. So I know it's gonna feel like that. You don't even know what you're watching. It would be like watching into the darkness or something scary. But your gaze is never gonna deter. And that is what it means to know. And step by step, you can do this in the interaction with every person in your life. Your goal now for every interaction, every relationship, even if it's just with a coworker, even if it's just with acquaintances, whoever it is, to be present and to be as honest as you can. And every day you try to be just a little bit more deeper in that interaction. And with deeper, I don't mean, I have to bring up a very deep subject. I mean, feel the other person a little more deeper, and especially dare to be a bit more vulnerable and straightforward in your communication. Because step by step, we then start eliminating all the shadows. And what's going to happen then is that this crazy ocean on the inside is actually going to be a bit more calmer and calmer. So this is how it's done. And I think I've said everything I was going to say in this video. So think about it. How is your reality right now? Where are you trying to find your stable reality? And please share that in the comments. Well, that's all for now. And I see you soon again. And let's see if it's gonna be continuing on the same topic, or if I will start to dwell into something that is related to this. But please also let me know that in the comments. If there is something you would like to hear more about, please do let me know. And I see you soon again. Bye for now.